What's up, fragrance family? This is Tyler with Simply Fragrances, and today I'm bringing you a top 10 video. That's right, these are going to be my top 10 fragrances that I'm most excited to wear in the spring of 2021. Now, I do have a bit of a caveat. There are 3 honorable mentions, so it's not really technically a top 10 list, but they made it in there because I couldn't not put them in the video. So I'm really excited to bring this to you guys. These are really in no particular order. You know, these are just ones that I'm definitely looking forward to wearing in the springtime, and they always typically make my spring lineup, so that's why I chose them. So like I said, not really in a particular 1 through 10 order. I'm really bad about making top 10 videos. You know, I have a hard time. This one smells more better than this one, so it's gonna get the number 5. You know, I don't know. If they're in here, then they're great, and that's what they're gonna be. They're in my top 10 list, so that's just kind of how I do it. So at the first honorable mention spot, this one is just, man, I love this fragrance. This one, it makes me think of just a, you know, not necessarily sophisticated, but just a, you know, a man that's, you know, he knows what he's about. He's confident, he knows he smells good, and he's well presented. This is John Varvatos Original. Man, I love this stuff. This stuff is so good. This is really great, honestly, for spring and fall, but this does really, really well in the springtime as well. It's got a really just kind of a bright orangey kind of opening, but then there's some cardamom in here. It's got a little bit of a powdery accord to it, and this is just amazing. It smells like a gentleman, honestly. It just smells like, you know, a well put together man who knows what he's about. So John Varvatos Original. Now, the next one on the list, this is going to be Versace The Dreamer. Now, the reason why this is an honorable mention is just because it does open up very bright, citrusy. You get a great orange citrus accord in here, but there's a wet tobacco leaf in there that could be seen more, you know, fall type, but I think, honestly, this is a great springtime fragrance. My wife actually really enjoys this, so that was a little surprise because it is a little bit powdery. Powdery notes are, you know, kind of hard to pass off for a guy, but the citrus in here is just absolutely to die for. So Versace The Dreamer had to make it. And then the last honorable mention, and honestly the only reason why this is an honorable mention is because it's discontinued, so it's going to be really hard to find. The prices have started to, you know, kind of gouge a little bit, so glad I got a bottle when I did. This is Guerlain IDL, or L'Homme IDL Cologne. Sorry, I always get the names mixed up, or I say it backwards, but this one is a really great, just light, crisp, citrusy, almond type fragrance, and man, it is absolutely to die for. Really sad that they discontinued this. Not really sure why, but fragrance houses, they do that a lot, so don't really know. All right, so moving forward, the next on my list, like I said, not really any kind of particular order, but really excited for this one. This one is going to be Amouage Reflection Man. Now, I do have a full bottle coming to me, but my last one I sold. This was one of the weird kind of fragrance was that I liked, but it didn't really just captivate me. So I was like, you know what, I'll trade it, get something better. Well, as time went on, I, you know, re-smelled my sample and fell in love with it, and so I have to have it. Super excited to get that back, but in the meantime, this will do. And like I said, we're, you know, a couple weeks away from spring, at least from where I'm at, but Amouage Reflection Man definitely had to make the list. Super light, crisp. I dropped it, give me 1 second. Super light, you know, crisp, powdery, neroli fragrance. So if you're a neroli fan, definitely gotta check that one out if you haven't. So, all right, moving forward, this has been labeled the King of Spring, and I can definitely see why. This one, I mean, it just smells like fresh cut grass with the lemon verbena, just a super almost watery type vibe to it. You already know what I'm talking about probably if you know anything about fragrances. This is Creed Green Irish Tweed. I had to include this on the list, man. This is just spring in a bottle. I mean, really, this is, and they modeled this after like the fresh, you know, countrysides of Scotland and Ireland, you know, in England, one of those three, you know, the hills, the fresh green hills, you know, after it rained, just really great springtime fragrance. You're gonna get a lot of lemon verbena in the opening, and as it dries down, there's this just almost mossy type quality to it, like a fresh cut green grass field, and it's just amazing. If you haven't tried it, definitely recommend it. If you've smelled Cool Water by Davidoff, it has a very similar vibe to it, or even Aspen by Coty, you know, in the same ballpark, but the quality on this is like none other, and definitely recommend this. So Creed Green Irish Tweed. Now, I didn't think about this, but Creed's kind of dominating this list. I didn't really mean for that to happen. It just kind of did. So next on the list, Creed Viking. This one is an absolute must-have for the spring, in my opinion. The rose mint vibe that you get off of this, with that gentleman, you know, almost barbershop fougere type quality, is like none other. Absolutely a must-have. I wore this yesterday. Man, it just cuts through that cool, crisp air. So really great for, honestly, all year round, but springtime and fall time, this stuff really shines. But I digress. So this stuff must have for the springtime, especially if you love rose and mint with that kind of like Old Spice barbershop fougere vibe to it. All right, so moving on, we'll just kind of keep going with the Creeds. This is gonna be great for the summertime. Honestly, this is just an amazing high heat fragrance, but also this is going to be great for the springtime, and this is Creed Millesum Imperial. This stuff, man, this fresh melon salted, you know, sea salt caramel type vibe to it. Man, it just makes you think of warmer weather, stuff warming up, and with the flowers blossoming and coming back into bloom, this stuff, man, it just makes me think of that. I don't know, I get a springtime vibe whenever I smell this, and it is absolutely to die for. Now, this is a vintage bottle. This is a 2015 batch, 15X01, if I'm not mistaken. Where's it at? Yes. 15X01. So definitely recommend this. I think it's 15. Yeah, 15X01. So anyways, the reason I say that is because the new Millesum Imperials, man, they just don't perform. They don't last like they used to. Way watered down. And so honestly, I kind of have this love-hate relationship with Creed. Love their older formulations, love their older fragrances. Their newer stuff, man, it's not what it used to be, except for, honestly, this bad boy, the Viking. This is a 2018 batch, 18G01, I think. I'll tell you here in a second if I can find it. Yeah, it's not gonna let me find it, but I know it's a G. But anyways, some of them, you know, they're worth it still nowadays. But like Silver Mountain Water, Millesum Imperial, Irolfa, Original Vetiver, they just don't last like they used to. So that's why I opt for the older batches. They're still out there. You just gotta hunt them down and find them. All right, moving forward in the Creed fashion, this will be the last Creed on the list, and it's not what you're thinking. It's not Aventus. I know, big shocker, but that's just more of a summertime vibe to me. I don't really get spring whenever I get that. So I went with Irolfa. Now, Irolfa is also a great high heat fragrance whenever it's really hot and humid outside, but it's so light and crisp and refreshing. I just get like a new life kind of vibe whenever I spray this. It just makes me think of flowers blooming, and you know, you get the fruit coming back onto the trees. Like, I don't know if you live anywhere in the Midwest or not, but we get a lot of apple trees and orange trees, and you know, you see the flowers starting to blossom before the fruit starts to produce, and I just get this kind of vibe. It also, you know, it does really remind me of summer a lot, but this is a really great springtime fragrance as well. So Creed Irolfa, as you can tell, this is a vintage. This is a 16C01. Recommend it highly. All right, so let's go with another designer. This one, I've had a love-hate, back to love kind of relationship with this. I loved it when I first smelled it. Someone said it smelled like laundry detergent. That's all I could think of whenever I smelled it up until probably a couple months ago. This is my wife's favorite Mont Blanc. Like, you know, she just loves it. And so I've been trying to get more use out of it, and, you know, really excited to wear it in the springtime. It just makes me think of like church on Easter. I don't know why, I just get that type of vibe from it. This is Mont Blanc Spirit, or Legend Spirit, pardon me. It's got like a white tea note in there with some jasmine, and it just smells fresh and clean. Like, it really does. Fresh, clean, invigorating, and it just has a perfect springtime vibe to it. Like I said, I wore this a lot to church whenever, you know, on Easter. It just kind of has that presence about it. It makes me kind of think of like just a spring overcast day, you know, birds chirping. I don't know, that's just what I get from it. So Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. All right, guys, so we're starting to kind of wind down on the list. I'll go ahead and do another designer, and this one is very, very, very special to me. This is near and dear to my heart. If you've been on the fragrance channel for a while, you guys know this. If you're new, you're about to find out. This was my first like big purchase fragrance that I ever got. I got this whenever I first moved out of my parents' house. Me and a couple buddies got our own place. I got my first, you know, real-time job. I got my first car. This was the first fragrance that I got. So this one, it just has so much sentimental value to me. And I moved out during the springtime. So I don't know, it just kind of worked. This is Versace Eau Man Fresh. And man, the starfruit in here is just so amazing. Very citrusy, very aquatic, light, but the pink pepper in here, man, it's just to die for. I love this fragrance. It's so good. Like, it really, really is. If you are into light, fresh, aquatic type scents, this is definitely right up your alley. If you've never smelled this, you're probably living under a rock or just getting into the fragrance game, because it's on everyone's list. I mean, I think I only know of one person who really doesn't like it, and that's Justin over at Stay Fresh Production. He just doesn't care for it. That's fine, you know, that's his own thing. But for me, I love this scent. It will always be in my fragrance collection. Like I said, very sentimental to me. I don't care if this gets discontinued and it goes to $1,000 for a bottle. I'll save up and I'll get it. I have to. This is amazing. So Versace Eau Man Fresh, light, crisp, refreshing, just great early springtime scent. All right, so I believe we're down to the last three, guys. So let's go ahead and get into this. So this one, man, this one was really, really hard for me to choose, because there's another one in the same exact lineup, or in the same house, that smells similar to this, but this one just beat it by just literally a nose hair. Like, man, I might change it, I don't know, but for now, this is my pick, and I love this. George, man, you knocked it out of the park when you made these, so probably already know what I'm talking about. This is George Zaharoff's. This is Signature Royale, and man, if you love barbershop type fragrances or any kind of, you know, masculine fougere type fragrances, this is an absolute must-have, especially this one. This has an apple note in there that, man, I can't get over. I love it so much. I wear this to work often, as you can see. I haven't used too much of it just because it is limited edition, but I do use it, and every time I wear it, I get compliments. So, I mean, it definitely works. So, in the springtime, this will get some really heavy use. Now, if you don't know Zaharoff and their line, the one that almost beat it out was this bad boy. This is Signature Pour Homme. This is classic barbershop fougere, but this has a pear note in there, and I absolutely love it. But that light, crisp apple was just a little bit more refreshing, made me think of spring, and so that's why I went with it. All right, moving on to the list. These are the last two, actually. So these ones are, I kind of saved them for the last for a reason. These ones, I'm super excited. One of them's brand new. The other one I've had for a little bit, and so I know how well it does in the springtime. And this is none other than Bleecker Street by Bond No. 9. Now, again, if you've been on my fragrance channel for a while, you know how much I love this. This could be my signature scent. I don't know if I'll ever have one, but this one and the number 1, I've said multiple times, this could be my signature scent, or they could be my signature scent. Man, this blueberry, like fresh cut grass, vanilla, woody type fragrance is absolutely to die for. It just makes me think of spring. It makes me think of like just a cool spring day with the birds chirping, clear bright blue sky, not a cloud in sight, and you're in a hammock, you're just kind of relaxing, and kind of living. So I don't know, I really get a springtime vibe whenever I smell this. Also does really great for the fall, but man, this to me, don't get me wrong, Green Irish Tweed, it's great. It's known as the King of Spring, but I think this stuff right here is known as the King of Spring for me. Love it, absolutely love it. All right, guys, and then at the number one spot, like I said, not really ordered per se, but this one is one of the newest ones to my collection, and I'm so excited to have this. This one comes from none other than our very own Mr. Smelly. This is Gravitas Pour Homme by Notting & Wilson, and man, this stuff, as you can tell, I love the barbershop fougères. I've had one, two, well, at least two on here. This will be the third one. I absolutely treasure this scent. It is so amazing, so great. If you haven't checked out my review for it, go through the channel, look at, I'll leave a link in the description below. It is absolutely a must-have. This is a light, crisp, you know, barbershop fougere type fragrance, but it has a great citrus dry down, and it's a creamy lavender, just bomb. Like, oh, man, just super amazing. I've gotten so many compliments when I wore this. I wore it to work, and one of my coworkers says I smell effing delicious. So if that tells you anything about this, man, this is a definite must-have. Great for the springtime. Can't wait to wear it. It's got a bit of a powdery note to it, but there's just, I think it's orange. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to go back and, you know, re-look at the notes for this, but there's a citrus note in here in the dry down with a pink pepper accord, or a peppered accord with that creamy lavender. Man, it is just absolutely to die for. If you like any kind of barbershop fragrances at all, definite recommend. So, all right, guys, so that's gonna do it for this. Comment down below what your fragrances are that you look forward to wearing in the springtime. I'll catch you guys later. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead, hit the red subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, if you love it, wear it.